It may just be the whole joystick assembly. I don't know. It could be me. It could be the netcode. It could be the joystick assembly. I don't know what's causing it to have those errors, okay? Like unboxing a console. It seriously is. I mean, this thing is the price of a console. It is. This is just as expensive as buying a game console. So, there you go. Now it's bright red. Are you kidding? It does all the colors of the background lights. The whole thing is customizable to whatever color scheme you like. That is insane. No rollback netcode isn't as bad as I thought it was originally, but when it comes to the dropped inputs, it's bad. We're unboxing a joystick tonight, which obviously wasn't the original plan, wasn't in the cards. I did not know, that I was going to be getting this. This is something that came out of the blue on my day off. Someone had offered to purchase me a new joystick because they saw that with the Kanba Obsidian 2 that I've been playing with since, August, September of last year, that I've definitely noticed things such as, man, it doesn't block down right all the time on reaction. I try to drive rush right, and for some reason it seems to, just stand there and parry. And it's happened a bunch. It's not, once or twice, pretty, consistent error. And we don't know if it's actually the physical joystick or if it's the components. Now, I swapped out the components and played a whole stream with the Hayabusa joystick back yesterday, and it seemed to work okay, but there were still issues. So it may just be the whole joystick assembly. I don't know. It could be me. It could be the netcode. It could be the joystick assembly. I don't know what's causing it to have those errors, okay?
To add on to that list, we also don't know if it's just poor reflexes, lack of knowledge, or just low skill either. We don't know exactly what the cause is, because there was never any sort of legitimate testing done. At no point was there ever any solid evidence that this was anything more than just user error. Yet we've gone out of our way multiple times now to try and fix something that may not even be happening. The lengths that this man has gone to are crazy, all in a vain attempt to protect his ego, and because he spent so much time on it, made it such a focal point of his content over the past few days, he's cast a major spotlight on his fighting gameplay, which ordinarily would be good, but that only means more people are waiting in the wings to inevitably hear that it made no difference and that all of this was yet again just another desperate cope on DSP's behalf.
So after having seen these errors, especially since I hit master with Bison and wanting to perform better, and every time one of these errors happens, I end up losing a whole match, a fan of mine contacted me on my day off and said, listen, that joystick that you bought is good, but it's not the best. It's a shame you didn't get the best one that everyone says is the absolute top of the line joystick for competition. Outside of you maybe custom building one yourself. So I don't know, but they offered to donate it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no. Obviously, that's incredibly generous, but this is someone who I'd never spoken with before. So how do you know if you could trust them or not, right? I guess I could trust them because it's right here. It showed up straight from Amazon, unopened, untouched, and we're going to unbox it live tonight. Okay?
It wasn't on this day, but the day prior that he told the whole story, in that he just so happened to check his spam email folder to see a message from a random unknown fan, who of course has been a fan for years, probably since Heavy Rain, and he was asking if he could purchase DSP this top-end fighting stick. DSP, in a strange break of character, just happened to trust this person and allow something to be sent to his house. If you ask me, all that sounds a bit far-fetched, and like I said, out of character for old Philly boy. I and many of the detractors are convinced that this was in no way a donation of a fan, but instead an underhanded way for DSP to once again haphazardly spend his money on unnecessary toys while continuing to beg for money every single day. And of course, nothing can be simple with DSP. He always finds the most complicated and obnoxious way to do just about everything. And unfortunately for everyone, this fight stick was no exception. Because receiving and then using the product and allowing everybody to hear your thoughts on it wasn't enough, DSP insisted on doing a full unboxing style segment.
So we're going to unbox it, take a look at its features, and then we're going to plug it in and we're going to test it. We're going to have it tonight. It's all about M. Bison with the new Victrix Pro FS stick. And we'll see how it goes tonight, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here we go. It is a beast called the Victrix Pro FS joystick. for PlayStation 4, 5, and PC. Now, since this was donated, the person actually asked me what color I wanted. I said, I don't mind. Get whatever color you think would be cool. So they got white. I think it comes in 2 colors, white and like neon purple. Okay? So here it is. Beautiful looking, right? It's a humongous box, and it is very heavy. So you can tell it's going to be a weighted joystick.
I'm sure there are other, more reliable ways to tell that the joystick is going to be weighted, but congratulations on such an astute observation, DSP, really putting that valedictorian status to use, I see. And I really do love the way he framed the whole color aspect to this joystick, because I thought it was kind of odd that he left what color the joystick was going to be up to this totally real and unknown dent, because I couldn't imagine DSP would legitimately leave himself open to the kind of harassment that he would receive had he gotten a pink joystick in the mail. Not that there's anything wrong with having a pink joystick or any sort of pink peripherals, but you know that DSP has a strange opinion about those kinds of things, if you get what I'm saying. This is the guy that calls himself a sissy anytime that he experiences sorrow or sadness on stream. Because of course those emotions are reserved for only women, obviously. I am confused as to why this person went with white though, because I can't think of anyone that is less fit to have white peripherals than the guy. Despite working in the waste industry, I consider myself fairly clean and orderly when it comes to my home and my equipment, and even I won't buy white peripherals. Yet that dent thought it was a sound idea to give DSP, the guy known for picking every orifice on his body and smearing it all over himself, an all-white $400 fight stick? That'll just never make sense to me. I think he would have been much better off with the purple.
Here it shows on the back many of the features. 30mm Sanwa Denshi buttons, which is supposed to be a step up from the standard Sanwa buttons. Control bar with a touchpad. 3M detachable USB-C braided cable. So it's a detachable cable, 3 meter long. PS5, PS4, PC mode switch. Clean, easy to mod layout. That's right. This one opens up easily for modding if you want to swap parts out. It does it very easily. A 3.5mm audio jack for, I believe, headphones. Ergonomic 6.28 wrist slope. I guess it's a wrist slope that's more ergonomic than other joysticks. Okay? And lastly, single-piece aircraft-grade aluminum shell. It's literally made of one ginormous piece of aluminum metal.
I genuinely believe that some of DSP's worst content is in fact his unboxing videos. There's something about the way that he handles the products and reads off of the boxes that just really doesn't do it for me. Because who other than DSP feels the need to pig-splain in between every feature listed on the box? Everybody watching should be able to figure out that a 3-meter detachable braided USB-C cable was in fact a detachable cable that was 3 meters long and USB-C. It wasn't exactly rocket science. Does he really think that his audience or people in general are really that dumb, or is this just a tactic to stretch this segment out for any longer than it needs to be? Which is not at all. This segment does not need to exist.
On the back it says Pro FS with a bunch of dots. Like unboxing a console. It seriously is. I mean, this thing is the price of a console. It is. This is just as expensive as buying a game console. So there you go. All right. So shout out to Javi. The name of the fan is Javi, who donated this. They said that's the name they wanted to go by, and that's it. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything else, but very generous of you. Thank you so very much. Fingers crossed that it improves my game. It's got stickers on it. I have to get a knife. Oh, well.
Given DSP's relationship with money, specifically his lack thereof, I'm not sure why he continuously points out how expensive this fight stick is. I know he's trying to pretend as if this Javi person bought it for him, but that doesn't make you any less silly begging for tips to buy groceries while holding a $400 toy. Who would sooner sell their own pride to pay for groceries rather than the fight stick? And all of this is just a desperate attempt to protect his ego. He literally had his fingers crossed to ensure that it improved his game. I guess a miracle can be added to the list of things that DSP has begged for.
20 people are asking me questions about it. I don't know anything. You're saying, what makes it more expensive than other joysticks on the market? This thing is $399 US. Why? I'm assuming because of its features, the fact that it's moddable, one piece of aluminum, its style, its ergonomic, you know, the higher end Sanwa parts, whatever it may be. I really don't know. I haven't used it. I didn't order it. You know, I don't know anything really about it. Well, I'm excited to try it. I'm excited to see how it performs.
So he knows that people call the Victrix the Rolls Royce of fight sticks, but doesn't know what sets it apart? He doesn't know what any of the features are? I thought that he would have learned an awful lot about it last year in August when he was talking about getting it then, because he most definitely brought up the Victrix as one of the fighting sticks that he was interested in getting before ultimately deciding to get the Obsidian too. Does that mean that back then, even when it was his own money on the line, he was thinking about making this purchase without actually looking into it? I guess consumer brain DSP is at it again, believing that because the price is higher, it must be better. But even if that were the case, even if that higher price point did get you higher quality parts and a more durable shell, I don't think that that's going to make the difference for DSP, because DSP's problem when it comes to Street Fighter, when it comes to games in general, is that he's just not good. And money really just can't make up for talent.
The real unboxing. So, it comes in a fabric bag that says Victrix. I can see the actual cord is purple. Look. The cord is purple USB braided cord. That's pretty neat. I'm not going to lie. I like that. Purple braid.
You didn't have to purchase, be donated a $400 fight stick for a purple braided USB cable, DSP. Here are some options on Amazon that would have been far cheaper. Then there would have been no question whether this random person could be trusted or whether this fight stick was ever going to show up. I would say at this point, given how often DSP orders from Amazon, that he knows his Amazon driver by name, but I think that that would be giving him a little too much credit. That's far too much human interaction for the guy. Aside from when they're late, the package might as well just show up on DSP's doorstep. That's how little interaction he actually has with the drivers.
Okay. It's not, look at this. Oh. 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 Oh, it feels good. Okay. The joystick is separate. You have to install it yourself, it looks like. It's in its own little sleeve of styrofoam there. See that? Okay. There it is. Now, it's heavy. It's very heavy, which is good. You don't want your joystick sliding all over the place. So heavy is actually a good thing. Okay. Now,
like I said, everything about the way that he handles the products during an unboxing is an awful sight. Everyone who is strictly audio style for this video is kind of winning in my book. I did go out of my way to look up how much this fight stick weighs though, because he keeps talking about how heavy it is, and it appears to be just over 7.5 pounds. 7.6 to be exact. To put that into perspective, a cordless drill typically weighs about 7 pounds. A desk lamp typically weighs 7 pounds. And DSP is sat over here hyping up the heft, when in the exact same article I found, it was being praised for being lighter than some of the competitors. I would even go as far as to say that the reason that they used an aluminum case for the shell is because aluminum is a very light metal, and that was something that they were taking into consideration. I guess it's just a blessing that this Javi person didn't buy DSP whatever stick that was that weighed more, because he might not have been able to survive the weight.
so what we need to do is we need to open this guy and see what it looks like on the inside. And I see a switch here. Wow, look at, whoa, it's got an extra shaft? What on earth is this? Holy, wow, that is the nicest looking stick I have ever seen in my life on the inside. You see all the wires are meshed together into purple wires that have that mesh on it. It's completely clean. There's no loose wires in this unit at all. They're all nice inside of a purple. That is so nice. Wow, I am very impressed with how this looks. For sure, I am impressed with how this looks. Cool. Good thing is, out of the box, I don't have to do anything besides install the joystick. I do have to get the joystick on there.
He says that as though putting in a stick wasn't the way that he found himself in this situation in the first place. I guess it is kind of working out for him now in that he was totally donated a $400 fight stick, but still, if I were him, I wouldn't be speaking with that much confidence. I do unfortunately have to agree with him yet again, because the cable management does look really well done. Just comparing how the last one and this one look inside, they don't look too different really. It's not a night and day a difference by any means. But I do think that the Victrix looks nicer on the inside. I think that those purple mesh cable covers really go a long way as far as I'm concerned. For that kind of price point though, the cable management better be on point. Anything less would be goddamn ridiculous.
Okay, it is very heavy. I'm going to say this weighs about maybe 5 pounds. It's heavy, but that's good. You want it to be weighted on your lap. That solid piece of aluminum really weights it down.
Yet again, calling it heavy despite thinking that it only weighs about 5 pounds. I guess he's more self-aware when it comes to his actual strength rather than his physical appearance. And as this unboxing continued, it really only got less interesting. Don't ask me how that's possible, so I'm just gonna skip to the part that I really think is the highlight of this whole thing.
Whoa! Dude, the whole joystick lights up. Look at this. The sides of the joystick light up. What the heck? The joystick has internal glowing lights. What is this? This is wild and insane. I was not expecting side lights to turn on. So here you go. As you can see on the top, now the buttons all have lit up purple. And I guess there's your PlayStation button. There's your here. I have to go to the button layout again, so I know what it is.
Apparently this is the first time DSP has seen peripherals with lights. I say apparently because I know for a fact this is not a new concept to him, as he just bought that cheap microphone for Brian co-ops the other day, which by the way is never going to happen again. And that microphone also had RGB lights in it, so I'm not sure as to why we're getting this fake pop-off for the basic gamer lights. In case you were worried that this was going to be short-lived and that he was going to be in this weird light-based clown mode for a brief amount of time, you would be wrong, because it didn't stop there. He just kept talking about these goddamn lights.
Move the joystick left and right to institute lighting transition mode. Okay, what did that do? It did do something. Is it... I think it changed from like a dark... it's a more bluer purple now. I can't tell. Holding it again. Oh, wait, is it pulsating? I think it's changing. It's pulsating. I think it went from fixed to pulsation mode. Yeah, it's going from like a deeper purple to a bluer purple. It's changing colors. What the... Let me try this again. Let me hold it again. Okay, prismatic is next. Now it's blue again. I don't get it. Now it's blue. Is prismatic a bluer purple? I don't even understand what's going on right now. I don't know what's happening. Then it's supposed to be reactive. Let's try that. That's blue. So it went from purple to blue. See that? It's like a bluish color now. So it started off as like a very like reddish deep purple. Then it went to like a pure purple. Now it's actually just blue. And all the buttons are actually blue on top now. See that? Okay. Next is supposed to be reactive or white. Let's see if it's white or reactive.
Just want to remind everybody that this is indeed a 42-year-old man who was acting this way while changing the lighting on his fight stick. I want to make it clear that there is nothing wrong with being excited. There is nothing wrong with showing people something you are excited about. What I do take issue with is this childlike behavior that this fully grown man is exhibiting live in front of potentially the entire internet. He doesn't want to be seen as a children's entertainer and is constantly reminding everyone that his content is in fact not for children, but then he acts like this, freaking out about standard lighting features on gaming peripherals. Again, as if this is the first time he's ever seen this kind of thing.
Oh, next is pure. This is ultimate pure blue. Like the bluest, purest. And then on top of that, what's next? It says, I think there's white. Oh, if you hold it, it just keeps going. Oh my God. Yo, it's green. It goes all these different colors. Now it's green. Whoa. Can I make it red? Yeah, it's going yellow. Hold on, here's orange. No, it's yellowish orange. It has all these colors. Now it's bright red. Are you kidding? It does all the colors of the background lights. The whole thing is customizable to whatever color scheme you like. That is insane. I've never seen anything like this in a joystick in my life. So that's why I'm blown away. I think I'll probably go to blue. Probably blue is where I want it. Look, it's magenta right now, and now it's back to purple. All right, now it's like blue. I want like nice deep, this is deep blue. Okay? Now, If I push the button, it changes mode. So first of all, pulsate. Yeah, it's pulsating. Watch this. Look at that. Like a heartbeat. Pulsating. See that? Then there's prismatic, which it looks like it cycles through all the colors. Obviously, you don't want that. You know how distracting that would be? You definitely don't want it cycling through all the colors. Okay? Then we've got reactive. It went off. I pressed reactive and it went completely off. I don't know, maybe when you input something. Oh! Ready? Oh my god, when you press the button, it lights up.
Whoa, it's almost as if the mode is called reactive because it, get this, reacts to your button presses by lighting up when you press it or something. Just standard lighting effects you can find on just about every gaming keyboard or mouse. In fact, it's almost as if those little lights are the only thing that really separate gaming peripherals from normal ones. Really, one trip into a Best Buy and you've seen all that RGB lighting has to offer, but I guess that's too much to expect from the guy given that he only leaves his house once a week, and it's most definitely not to go to a Best Buy. I do love that his audience is supposed to be mature adults that are around a similar age to him, but he was announcing what color the joystick was changing to as if they wouldn't know without being told. It's like the worst form of a children's show, really. But I think that we've spent more than enough time watching DSP clown mode over these lights. Let's talk about what really matters. How did it perform? Well, you'll be shocked to hear that it didn't actually change a whole hell of a lot. Despite the exorbitant amount of money that was spent on this fight stick, DSP had pretty much the exact same experience. Of course, I don't expect you to take my word for it though, because I am a detractor after all, so here's what the average aftermatch segment sounded like.
Oh my god, insane luck. I didn't do that. I wanted wake up reversal. I got the wrong move. I'm done now. That's game. All because my wrong move came out. That sucks. I 100% was holding forward and hit both fucking fierces, and it gave me that. So that's 100% the game. That's not the joystick. That's the fucking online netcode sucks. I didn't get outplayed. I had her. I knocked her off of me. Gives me the wrong fucking move. Bullshit. Game's fucking terrible online. You didn't earn your win. You just stood there and mashed jab against my drive rush to beat it for a giant reward combo, even though there's no skill to that. Just desperation mashing jab. The game rewards you because you're a top tier. The game says you can keep pressing the same button 3 times in a row, and it's safe. I can never interrupt. I can never do anything to punish you. And then at the end, I don't get the right move. So that jury is sorry, not very good. Wasn't. Not a very good jury at all. Just getting fucking lucky, and of course abusing the top tier bullshit. Bullshit.
So as you can see, or rather hear for some of you, it really is just another day for the guy, despite the wailing that was done by a totally legitimate dent named Javi, who I want to remind everybody no one has ever heard of. You may have also caught the fact that he has now gone back to blaming the game and the netcode rather than the stick for his shortcomings. I guess that finger crossing that he did a while ago didn't exactly work the way that he was hoping by improving his game. Despite all of that though, he was fairly positive, at least towards the stick. He even did a bit of overtime, which is always surprising to me given DSP's total lack of interest in games, but I guess it was Street Fighter and it was his first time using his new toy, so I shouldn't be all that shocked.
Okay. Alright, I went extra late, guys. I gotta get out of here now, obviously. Thanks. Great test of the stick. I love it. I really like this joystick. Probably my favorite joystick I've ever owned. It feels like a fucking amazing thing, you know, like it just feels so heavy duty, professional, and good. So I'm pretty excited for more Street Fighter on this thing, quite honestly. Hope that you guys are too. I definitely feel like this is better than the combo. The combo was nice, but this is just like a step up for sure, like a huge step up. And that means that Monday is the return of Street Fighter on the day stream, and we'll see how the joystick works. But I love it. This is the best stick I've ever had. I'm having very few issues with it. It's like I said, I guarantee you it's the netcode. It's not the stick. The stick is insanely good. So I can't wait to play more. And every night maybe I'll do a different color. The thing has like 100 different colors that it can be. So maybe every night I'll do a completely different color scheme. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
He went from saying that he had very few issues with the new fight stick, only to immediately begin blaming any issues that he did have again on the netcode, even though not that long ago, he explicitly said that there was in fact nothing wrong with the game and the netcode, but instead it all stemmed from his poor setup. Trying to follow DSP's logic really just goes to show you how cyclical this entire charade is, and that even though time is passing, nothing changed, and everything is in fact still the same. To get the entire story though, to put the final nail in the coffin, let's get DSP's final thoughts on the stick the following day during his pre-stream.
Basically, everything was going well. Were there issues? Yeah, there were dropped inputs. There was blocking that didn't happen. Guess what it is? It's the fucking netcode. All right? So I've had enough of everyone defending these games online. Street Fighter 6, at least the PS5 version, absolutely drops inputs and has issues with inputs misreading because of the netcode. When I'm doing a combo, jab, 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 scissors, which is just quarter circle forward and kick, and it gives me jab, 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 head stomp. I literally never pushed up on my fucking joystick and it gave me a head stomp. How did I get that? The netcode. It's the fucking game. So enough excuses trying to defend this shitty netcode. No rollback netcode isn't as bad as I thought it was originally, but when it comes to the dropped inputs, it's bad. And I don't know why people like it so much, except they all play shitty patterns online, so they don't have to worry about the dropped inputs, because this favors that kind of gameplay. But anyway, for the most part, I actually did have a good time. This joystick is outstanding. I literally cannot wait to play again. It just sucks because now I get this joystick for Friday Night Fights. Now I'm not playing Street Fighter again until Monday. Right? It's like, oh, it just figures that I would have gotten this, and then I can't use it again until Monday because I have a full schedule for the weekend. Right?
Because of course DSP is the first and only person to have ever played Street Fighter 6 in an intelligent way. Everybody else is obviously just a pattern playing scrub. And I know that I talk about this all of the time, but it really does annoy me to high heaven when DSP decides to complain about his own schedule. You know, the schedule that he entirely makes up all by himself that nobody else is in charge of. If he really wanted to play more Street Fighter 6, if he wanted to play it at a sooner time, then he absolutely could. And I would imagine that most of his audience would be down with that, specifically because he was gifted supposedly, this $400 fight stick. There really has never been a more appropriate time for DSP to switch up his schedule and put more Street Fighter 6 in.
So I'm very much looking forward to Monday. Yesterday's stream, much like all the M. Bison streams, was up and down. I gained points. I lost a lot of points, then I gained them back. So I'm kind of like back at square one where I started. I think I'm at like 1,540 something points in master rank. So I'm above 1,500, but I keep dipping below and then going back up during the course of a stream. It sure would be great to have consistent climbing, but the problem is, here's the funny part about it, right? When I'm playing the good players, if I get to someone who's like a 1,700 points, I always have a really good match where it's close, it's fun, it's competitive. I fought a Blanca at like 1,700 like high ranking points, and we went back and forth. He won one, I won one, and the final round was close. I was like, that was a great match, but I gained a bunch of points because I beat the guy who was higher ranking than me. You see? Then I fight people who are lower ranked but just play patterns, and they fucking beat me because you can't fucking beat it online because you got to guess. It's stupid. You'll lose to the pattern, but I can win against intelligent players because they actually have brains, and that's how I think when I play a fighting game. So, it is what it is. I will continue my climb and my practicing with Bison starting on Monday, all right? So anyway, I cannot wait to use more of the Victrix Pro FS stick. It's an amazing joystick so far. It's the best. It's definitely the craziest and best joystick I've ever owned. I've never seen a joystick with these features before. I can't believe it has the features it has. It's pretty wild, okay? So, more of the Victrix coming up on Monday.
So, of course, to no one's surprise, it is in fact all Capcom's fault that DSP is bad. If only the Cannon brothers had not designed the netcode entirely with the purpose of screwing over DSP in Street Fighter 6, maybe then he could be good. That idea is obviously nonsense, but it really is the mentality that Phil lives with every single day in his life. Imagine how exhausting and embarrassing that is. Not for a single second does he ever consider that those dropped inputs are him. He really thinks that he's some sort of infallible human who could never mess up his own inputs in a high-stress competitive environment. I guess he did beat Melania in Elden Ring, so that must make him some sort of god gamer, right? That's the way that he was making it sound just a month ago when he beat Elden Ring for a second time, so it must be true. And that's the entire new stick storyline. All of this really did happen so quick when you think back on it. He tore the old stick apart, ruined it, got a replacement stick the following day, and then received the brand new Victrix fight stick the day after that. The guy doesn't often make changes, so for all of that to happen that quickly was kind of wild and out of the ordinary. I'm just hoping that Street Fighter 6 goes away shortly after this to render the whole saga pointless. God, that would be so funny. Speaking of funny though, some of the comments from the last video, so big ups to the 60 skulls. Vaporware's coming in with a longer one saying, other people have said it before, but goddamn, how does someone who worked on computers and modding fight sticks, if you take him at his worthless word, not have a micro driver kit for electronics, or know that two joysticks from two competing brands might not be the correct dimensions to fit? Dude has zero respect for his own equipment. It's no wonder everything in his life is falling apart, from his fight stick to the snort fort to his sham of a marriage. As a normal style adult who also operates a household, it's a wonder to me that DSP gets by his day-to-day life the way that he does without an assortment of tools, actually. And while he might not have a micro driver kit, he did absolutely confirm that he does in fact have a screwdriver, which is one more tool than I thought that he had. I know that he has a hammer and that he has a weird crowbar thing, but I kind of figured that a screwdriver was just out of his league. And for that reason, I really never expected him to have a micro driver kit ever. That's just asking too much from the guy. Cheap Taco Man says, all this effort and dismantled mess simply because DSP can't accept that he is just not as good at Street Fighter as he thinks he is. The denial is strong in Phil. And that's really what all of this boiled down to, wasn't it? DSP has this undying need to shirk all of the blame from himself onto something else, regardless of what it is. I'm just so happy that I could see the entire thing go full circle and go right back to being the game and the netcode's fault. It's like everything is right in the world again. And Mikazuki Ishtar says, goes through all of this hassle, time, and money just to lose against pattern players using the standard DualSense 5. And I really do think that that's the icing on top. That's the cherry that really brings this entire piece all together. Multiple hundreds of dollars have been spent, multiple fight sticks have been swapped out, and a bunch of equipment has been changed in DSP's setup. Also that he could lose to the same pattern playing scrubs that he was losing to before, who I'm sure are just using the default PS5 controller. It's like I said earlier, money can't buy talent. But with that, I want to thank you guys for watching, especially if you made it this far. Hopefully I'll catch all of you guys in the next video, but until then, make sure that you check out other detractor content and dive deeper into that. Snortex.
Whoa, it's got an extra shaft?